Never fear, for I shall explain. It's just a minor procedural complication, Your Honor. The prosecutor for this case is being escorted from prison as we speak. Prison? Oh yes, of course. I almost forgot that he is currently serving time. Oh, we had a cutscene.
Yup, Prosecutor Blackwell's an inmate.
Oh. Oh, wow.
But even a convicted murderer still got a job to do and duties to perform.
Oh my. Oh, he looks intimidating. Who's that with his back to us over there? That's him, I'm sure of it. Prosecutor Blackwell. Is the prosecution ready? Enough jabbering. Get on with it already. Of course, forgive me. Why are all the people related to this case so scary? Very well, Prosecutor Blackwell. Your opening statement, if you please. What's the matter? Must we continue to fritter away time like this? It is all right there in the indictment. An opening statement would be pointless. Pointless? Oh, well... Looks like the cat, or in this case, the prosecutor, has the judge's tongue. But we need an opening statement as an overview of the case at hand. Well then, your baldness, if it's so important, it's so very important, why don't you do the honours? Who? Me? There's a term for people who whine and fuss about how they need silly, useless things, and then decide they no longer want them once it's theirs. A selfish old fool. Huh? Wait, was that the prosecution's opening statement? Is that old dotards? Such as you are a plague upon the young. I pity your poor grandchildren. Or is it great-grandchildren? Wow. All these years I thought the opening statement was the prosecutor's job. But I suppose I could give it a try. Might be a nice change of pace. What? He actually fell for that? That must have been the power of suggestion Mr. Wright was talking about. The opening statement, huh? Let's see here. The victim was one Rex Cuby, alderman of Ninetails Vale. And the defendant, Damien Tenmer, mayor of Tenmertown, is accused of his murder. And why, pray tell, was the mayor arrested? His prints were on the murder weapon. Plus he had a motive, the elimination of the biggest roadblock of to the municipal merger. Fuck me. The caretaker and the secretary. Other potential suspects both had alibis. And his daughter, who was also in the vicinity at the time of the incident, has no motive. So, in a nutshell, I'd have to say the charges against the defendant are incontrovertible. Bravo, your baldness. Your years of experience shine bright like your head. Ho-ho-ho! Flattery will get you everywhere. He's playing Simon Says with the judge. Moving right along, let's hear from our first witness for today, Detective Fulbright. I thought it was going to be Emma for these games. Aw, that sucks. She was replaced! Again. Well, I mean, she was only in one game. I just thought we would have her in all of them, but oh well. Witness, please state your name and occupation. I'm the detective assigned to this case, Bobby Fulbright. Oh, and I'll also be keeping tabs on old Blackwell here. I also heard you would provide protection if it ever came to that. It would seem that I have been sorely underestimated. Wait, who's protecting who from what? Still, I truly believe anyone can turn their life around, even old Blackwell here. Fulbright, save your platitudes for funerals. Get on with your statement. That's the spirit. Justice must be swift and true. I see it in your eyes. There is hope for your rehabilitation and return to society. I will never give up on you. Prosecutor Blackwell doesn't seem to intimidate Detective Fulbright. Well, you know what they say, ignorance is bliss. Oh, so that's why Detective Fulbright was assigned to Blackwell. He's so oblivious. Now let's have your first statement, Detective Fulbright. You got it, but first, I'd like to say to the defense that justice will ultimately prevail. Okay. It's testimony time about the murder. Alderman Kirby was murdered with a spear that had been on the wall. The fingerprints of the defendant, Damien Tenmer, were found on the murder weapon. At the time, Alderman Kirby was asleep from a drug he unwittingly ingested. Mayor Tenmer attacked his helpless victim, impaling him like a human shish kebab. But the sudden pain jolted the victim awake, and he grabbed the statue and struck back. Alderman Kirby had been slipped some kind of sleep-inducing drug. That's right. The accused was scared, because the alderman was a former pro wrestler. So he slipped him a drug to make sure he'd be out cold and defenseless. Here's the autopsy report to prove it. Oh, does he have that in, like, his bloodstream? Oh yeah. Cause of death, stabbed with a spear. Estimated time of death, around 3:20 PM. The victim had been in a drug-induced slumber. Oh. Well, shit. Also just realised Fulbright's got a butt chin. And the victim managed to attack his attacker, despite being impaled by a spear? That sounds almost superhuman. Is it even possible? Well, he was a former pro wrestler after all. That spear was probably nothing more than a mosquito bite to him.
Objection!
Not so fast. Don't try to brush it off, or brush it all off by saying the alderman had been a pro wrestler. Do you really expect us to believe he could fight back after being skewered by a spear? Never heard of the incredible feats of which man is capable of in a pinch, have you? Like the samurai of yore, wrestlers can battle through intense pain. It sharpens their senses. I used to talk about it with a former wrestler I met in the clink. I don't know. It still sounds like a little far-fetched. Does it now? Then perhaps we should test the theory of... Oh. Just test the theory on you with the edge of my blade. I didn't sign up for this. And so your life is spared. For now. Please let those shackles be made of titanium. I don't want to die. My investigations are as thorough as they are foolproof, or my name isn't Fulbright. I vote to resign immediately if I ever make a false arrest. The accused prints were on the weapon, and he's the one person without an alibi. Quite decisive evidence, wouldn't you agree, your baldness? The defendant is sounding guiltier by the minute. He has the judge leaning toward a guilty verdict. And the trial's just barely begun. What's more, a curious rumour about the accused is making the rounds. They say he seeks the merger, for the purpose of freeing Tenmataro from his imprisonment. Pardon me. Truth be told, I can think of no real reason to show interest in that backwards berg. Perhaps he's a complete nutter, and really does seek to release an imaginary demon. Either way, he is raving mad, and more than capable of murdering the alderman. That mayor is a strange one. I heard he went to a blood drive, but instead of donating, he tried to make a withdrawal. Order! There will be no gossiping in my court. Your baldness. Please take a gander at those charms plastered across his cranium. I hear them meant to keep him safe from from possession by the demon Temataro. Then again... perhaps he's already under the demon's spell. Behold! The lunatic appears poised to lunge at you at any moment. Did that actually have the cult things? Oh, right. That near is a strange one, alright. Alright, lunge at you at any moment. Ooh, Athena. The rumours and quirks of Mayor Tenma have no relevance to this case. Besides, those charms on his head... They're just a fashion statement, I think. Come to think of it, such things don't seem relevant to the case, do they? The prosecution will refrain from dragging our client's reputation through the mud. Oh, what a dreadfully fearsome lass we have here. Whew. Thanks for that lifeline, Athena. Careful, Apollo. He has the judge dancing in the palm of his hand. The power of suggestion is one of the more powerful tools in Simon Blackwell's arsenal. He's trying to manipulate everyone's impressions to suit his objectives. This guy really is bad news. Okay. In any case, it seems the victim did manage to defend himself despite being impaled. What sort of weapon did he use against his attacker? None other than this statue right here. It appears to be a statue of two strange creatures locked in battle. Two yokai to be exact. On one side is the nine-tailed fox and on the other Tenmataro. Quite interesting if you think about it. It's as though this very case were rendered in art. The weapon used to bludgeon the mayor. The mayor's blood was found on it, but no prints could be lifted. What if the person that used it were wearing gloves? Mr. Justice, you may proceed with your cross-examination. You got it. About the murder. Press time! Murder with a spear that had been on the wall. Hold it. So those weapons on the wall of the Fox Chamber, I presume those are real? Don't you think keeping real weapons around like that is rather dangerous? No matter what he collected, the alderman insisted it to be the real deal. For instance, he had a real demon's club in his possession. Apparently, one of his ancestors claimed it after defeating a demon in battle. What? That's got to be an old wives' tale. The alderman had pure, unadulterated justice flowing in his veins. Whatever he did it right. We've lost a real champion of justice in his death. Nothing but claptrap and balderdash, if you ask me. Now stop your bleating and tell us about the weapon. Your wish is my command. It seems pressing doesn't have any penalties, so, you know. Alright. Damien's fingerprints were found on the weapon. It doesn't make sense. If you think about it, prints could be easily wiped off. You do have a point there. I'd venture to say he did not wipe off the prints because he could not. What do you mean? Looks like he wants you to figure it out. Well, don't just stand there, show him who's boss. I'm totally lost. So why don't you just tell me the answer already? I don't think he saw that plea for help. You feeling alright, kid? Running a fever, perhaps? I wish trials came with a reset button. Well, the specifics may yet come to light. Please proceed, Detective Fulbright. Okay. Come to think of it, a coffee cup was found on the floor. Was the sedative in his coffee? Bingo! We found traces of a sleeping agent all over the inside of the cup. And that is why he was out cold. That is until he leapt to his feet upon being impaled by the mayor. What an awful way to wake up. A rather stimulating eye-opener if you ask me. I too would have risen to the attack, for to die in battle is the samurai way. Paradise awaits fallen heroes, but that hole in his stomach would make eating a challenge. Prosecutor Blackwell, please. Those morbid jokes of yours have no place in this court. I can't believe he actually left. Says the jester in Detectives. In Detectives, guys. Moving right along. Is this statement 4 or 3? 3? 4? 4. 4. I'm pinning him like a human shish kebab. So the alderman was drugged because he was really strong? Did you see those rock-hard muscles of his? I'm surprised this spear even managed to pierce that armor like musculature. I admit I'm completely jealous of that wretch's body of his. Well, he did look pretty buff, even in that suit he had on. Quite a difference when compared with a yellow belly like you. Yellow belly? Who even says that anymore? Yeah, and that colour's all wrong too. Oh, I know. How about a squishy red tomato? I move to strike both of your comments from the record. I keep losing my mouse because it blends in. No, Mr. Justice's character is not the issue here. Now let's get back to what happened after the far more muscular alderman was impaled. Yes, well, your average person would likely have died on the spot. But not alderman. The sudden pain jolted the victim away. He grabbed a statue and struck back. Wait a minute. If that's true, where's the fucking fingerprints? It never even occurred to me. Wait, where's the statue? Hi there. No fingerprints. Objection! That's just one hefty penalty if you get it wrong. Did the alderman really strike the mayor? What? Are you questioning my sense of justice? I mean, no, I'm not. Your so-called justice needs to find itself a pair of legs to stand on. You claim the alderman struck back after the mayor put a spear through him. But the statue he supposedly used to defend himself creates a major hole in your theory. It would appear that the defense has a counter-argument. Very well, let's hear what the defense thinks is odd about the detective statue. There, he fought unarmed. No, there are no fingerprints. No fingerprints could be lifted. There are no fingerprints on this supposedly crucial piece of evidence. And if you look at the crime scene photo, you'll notice that the alderman isn't wearing gloves. Yes, I believe he is quite gloveless indeed. If he touched the statue with his bare hands, he should have left some fingerprints. Detective Fulbright, you did take that into account during your investigation, didn't you? This can't be happening. Did I arrest the wrong man? Oh, that's... Oh no, that's just this game's theme. You did it, Apollo. You knocked Detective Fulbright off his high horse. Well, it's just 1 point in our favour. Who do you suppose clubbed the mayor if it wasn't the alderman? Well, if it wasn't the alderman, that means someone else must have clubbed the mayor. You mean there was a third party there in the Fox Chamber? Exactly. And this could be the big break we've been looking for. There does seem to be a hole in the prosecution's argument. Prosecutor Blackwell, would you care to respond to the defence's assertions? He'll have his back turned to us. What do you know? The least you could do is look at me while being dismissive. Your mind is as dull as an unhoned blade. Unhoned blade, Justice Dono. Justice Dono? He's been watching too many samurai flicks. I don't know if it's Dono or Dono. It will take far more than that to cut down Simon Blackwell. A whelp such as you has no hope against my superior swordsmanship. This is a trial, not a sword fight, Prosecutor Blackwell. There is a perfectly good explanation for the lack of prints on the statue. You might recall that that bloodstained cloth found at the scene of the crime. Well, it just so happens that the blood was the mayor's. So, what are you getting at? Hone your mind, boy. Why was there blood on that cloth? Solve that riddle and you shall see that the hole you thought you found is but an illusion. Now let's see. How was that cloth used? Was it used to wipe up blood, wrap the statue? Oh. Really? That's why there's no fingerprints? Maybe the alderman wrapped the statue in the cloth? In short, he wasn't touching the statue directly when he used it to strike back at the mayor. Ah. Precisely. Bully for you, boy. Bully? Oh, it was nothing. Apollo, don't let him start manipulating you too. You just closed the hole for the prosecution. I did? Ah, I did. Right. That a statue wrapped in cloth would leave no fingerprints is as plain as day. But this also proves there are no holes in our theory of the alderman striking back. Oops. Wrapped in a large cloth. Now do you see how dull your mind is? I'll make sure to sharpen it next time. A particularly frightening inmate once told me that he always tenderly honed his blades before he went to work, like the samurai of yore. Samurai? Sounds more like a homicidal maniac to me. Actually, he was working in the prison kitchen at the time. Wait, so the inmate was a murdering samurai prison chef? What a character. It would seem that the victim and his killer were the only ones there after all. I was kind of attached to that hole. Now what? Apollo? I just thought of something. If they didn't find anyone's fingerprints on the statue, who's to say someone other than the alderman didn't hit the mayor with it? Why didn't I think of that? Anybody could have not left prints on it. Then who, pray tell, struck the mayor with the statue? Please, illuminate us with your wisdom, young lady. There's only one answer. The real killer. Prove the existence of this real killer then. What evidence have you? Oh, I'll give you evidence, alright. Athena, are you sure about this? To borrow your words, Apollo, I'm fine. Take a look at this. Black feathers and tracks, allegedly from a yokai, were found at the scene. I believe they're from the third party who struck the mayor with that statue. Is the defense actually suggesting some sort of monster killed that alderman? That's exactly what I'm suggesting. Objection! Wait. No, Athena. You just lost what little credibility... Oh, she's saying a yokai did it. I didn't really catch on what the hell she was on about. You just lost what little credibility we had left. Sorry. Guess I got carried away. Mr. Justice, we've no time to deal with objections between members of the defense. Sorry, Your Honor. It's just, this kid's still, well, a kid. Ouch. You meanie. I'm reporting this to Mr. Wright. So, is this court to believe the feathers and tracks are from a yokai, as you put it? No, Your Honor. I believe they are a fabrication. The real killer wants us to believe that some sort of monster murdered the alderman. Interesting. And why do you suppose the killer would do that? Why indeed? Mr. Justice, you seem as new to this as your partner is. Ouch. This I'm not reporting to Mr. Wright. Hoy, Fulbright, explain to his baldness what these brats are missing. You know, the who and why behind those feathers and tracks. What? You mean you can explain all that? Our investigative prowess is without equal. I'm starting to think I chose the wrong profession. Very well, let's hear about these so-called yokai feathers and tracks. Feathers and tracks. This entire case centers on one man's attempt to crush opposition to the municipal merger. Mayor Tenma panicked when the Amazing Ninetales helped embolden the protesters, so he stoked the villagers' fears by fabricating a monster. The strange feathers and tracks he planted made it look like a yokai was the killer. So those feathers and tracks stoked the villagers' fears. Absolutely. He knew exactly how to prey on their superstitious minds. Those feathers only gave weight to the idea that the alderman was slain by a demon. The accursed demon Tenmataro, that is. Tenma who? Tenmataro, the legendary demon locked away in the village's forbidden chamber. From a young age, the villagers are taught to fear the great black-feathered demon. And thus, were they blinded to other, more plausible explanations. Hold on for a second. Before we start letting our imaginations run wild, isn't there someone else that could be considered a suspect? Mr. Justice, please explain yourself. On the day of the incident, there was a special event held at Kyubi Manor. And as a part of this event, there was someone dressed in the likeness of Tenmataro. Obviously this person is a much more likely suspect than any legendary demon.
Objection!
Ooh. He's very English. Objection, dullard. You are playing right into the killer's mind games. But listen here. The feathers and tracks were merely red herrings. The villagers believed the murder to be the work of the real Tenmataro. However, the police believe that the person in the Tenmataro suit is the killer. The defendant sought to sow this confusion in order to deflect blame away from himself. However, he was knocked unconscious by the alderman. And thus our mentally deficit mayor was caught red-handed at the scene of the crime.
Objection!
Do you honestly believe Mayor Tenma would do something so stupid?
Objection!
Objection! The evidence speaks for itself, Fool Bright. Right, it was the mayor's last-ditch effort to stop the opposition before things got crazy. The Amazing Ninetales was fueling both the yokai craze and the anti-merger movement. Plus, he's one of the better-known masked wrestlers, and the hometown favourite. That's why the mayor panicked and set out on the path of injustice. But do the people of Ninetales Vale really believe a yokai is behind the crime? Yokai sightings are an everyday event there, so I wouldn't be surprised if they did. I must say, a crime that preys upon innocent, impressionable minds. Just so, a particularly silver-tongued inmate once had the following words for me. The innocents of heart are the easiest prey. You don't say. Was this inmate a con artist? No. He was framed for the murder of his beloved. I actually felt sorry for the poor chap. Wait, so he wasn't the predator, but rather the prey? Oh. Yes, well... Now then, the defense may proceed with their cross-examination. Okay. Feathers and tracks. So this entire case centers on one man's attempt to crush opposition to the municipal merger. Hold it! Detective Fulbright, is the anti-merger movement really that strong? Oh, absolutely. They parade around in yokai costumes shouting, "Down with Mayor Tenma!" And just the other day, they stomped Tenma City Hall, claiming it was a den of vipers. But when the accursed showed his face, the angry mob scattered like leaves upon an autumn wind. For you see, lowly yokai are no match for Tenmataro, the dark lord of their kind. Wait, are the villagers scared of Mayor Tenma, or Tenmataro? I'm confused. I think he means Mayor Tenma. It's easy to get the wrong impression about the guy. Detective Fulbright, why do you suppose the defendant would commit such an act? Apparently when the Amazing Ninetales helped embolden the protesters. The Amazing Ninetales, no one knows his true identity, right?